Hello, beautiful. How are you doing today? So, do you struggle with wondering what is your purpose in life? What is it that you are meant to do while you're living this beautiful, unique life that you should grab and get the most out of? I think that once we get a little bit older, like in our 60s or somewhere around there, of course, this seems to take a lot more of our brain time. And also, I think those of us who are sensitive and empaths, because we have such a deep inner rich life and we do a lot of pondering, we want to find what is our purpose. And in the personal growth and spiritual growth world, we are kind of pounded with it, right? Purpose is a hashtag. It's like, what's your purpose? Finding my purpose. You know, God created you for something. You must find it. And if you don't know by now, then you are not aligned with your true essence, etc., etc., etc. In previous videos, I've talked about more of the spiritual quest aspect of finding a reason to live in this video. But today I want to get a little bit more into the 3D world, into this practical world of doing, because this is the dual reality we are in. We are spirit, but we are also material, physical beings that do. And all of us who don't have a stated clear purpose talk about, like in the spiritual world, right? Like find clarity about your life, about your intentions, about your vision for your future and all that. Gets exhausting. But most of us who do not have this have experienced and noticed not only the self-blame, because we'll beat ourselves up, like, what's wrong with me? How come I can't find what I'm supposed to do? Like, I'm here on the planet. God created me for something, and here I am, and I can't even figure this out. But there is also a stigma and a judgment that comes from society. Not having a clear sense of direction in this society, like point A, point B, this is where I'm heading, so everything that I do is towards that goal, is actually not respected. It is not something that is valued in this society. And I was even a few years ago, by somebody who has known me my entire life, I was accused of having gone through life blindly, which was the reason that I was in the dire predicament I was in. I'll get back to this a little bit later. But just to say that there is so much pressure put on us to find our purpose. Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, went on after the success of her book in speaking about finding your passion. She was passionate in her talks and in some of the books she wrote about the fact that just like find your passion, follow your passion, and your life will be fulfilled. You will feel fulfilled in your life, and you will be doing what you're meant to do. And you have other people, for example, Joseph Campbell, who promoted and talked about the idea of follow your bliss, which was inspired by the Hindu Upanishads. But that too was follow your bliss, follow your passion, and your life will be what it is meant to be. I never had that. And it's something that I talk about in my book, my unusual memoir, about not having that specific purpose, passion as a guiding light. How hard it makes life not to have that. And I'm sure many of you can relate. Like, I don't know I know there's a recent version of the movie Twister, and I haven't seen that one, but the original one, I've watched this so many times. And not only I just love the movie and the dynamics in it and the storyline, but it would always also bring me to tears, because how I wish that I had this one fire in me, this thing that, like Elizabeth Gilbert said, like at 12 years old, she knew she wanted to be a writer. And those Twister storm followers, like it's always been like burning inside. This is what I need to do, no matter what, no matter the risk, no matter the obstacle, no matter the cost. It will always be what I'm going for. And wow, I always envied those people, thinking, just trying to imagine having a life where you know that one thing, and then all your efforts and stumbles and all that are all about getting there, following this thing. And it's like, how easy would life be to have this one North Star to tell you, go in that direction, dear. This is where you are meant to go. The truth is that when you can't put your finger on, if you don't know your passion, if you don't have the clarity of your vision for your future, unless you make one up with your mind as a way to focus your attention, I'm meaning something like that is deep inside. If you don't have that, life is harder. Both ways have obstacles. But when you have obstacles, knowing what it is for, it is a lot, obstacles and challenges and pain and struggles, it's a lot easier to push through them, makes me think, like giving birth. Terrible pain and hardship, but you know what it's for. And therefore, women are willing to do it again and again and again. But when you have struggles and challenges and pain and crashes, not knowing what the goal is for them, life is really simply a lot harder and a lot more disheartening. And it takes a lot more strength and courage to continue to move through life when you don't understand and there is no apparent reason for your struggles and difficulties. And I believe that I mentioned it a little bit earlier at the beginning of the video, but I believe that HSPs, highly sensitive people, and empaths, and some kinds of neurodivergent people that tend not to be type A personalities, we fall into that category, it's just my opinion, a lot more. And I think a lot of you who listen to my videos are highly sensitive people, and that's why you relate to a lot of what I talk about. I think it has something to do with how much we perceive in life, the depth and the amount of detail, like the finesse of everything we perceive, that makes that we kind of can't focus on one thing, because we always have like this buffet of things that are in our orbit and in our vision, field of vision. So that's how it feels. Now, what do I want to bring that's going to make us feel better about it? Maybe even okay. So I've got 2 points that I want to make. The first is about passion. First of all, I think that those of us who are older, most of you here, should understand, even if like once you're in your 60s, and I guess there's kind of an expectation, hey, you've lived that long, you should know what your thing is, that expecting to feel a deep fire towards something, I mean, good if you do, but I think most of us don't, is a little bit like relationships. With age, passion changes. In relationship, what starts with fireworks and heat and all that, with time, it deepens and matures and looks different than the passion of youth, right? And I think that once we're getting up there, I keep saying 60s, 60s, it's like that's all it's about, but it's really not. Um, Not to expect to have the same kind of fire in our in a passion if we find one, but to recognize that passion will feel different and look different because we are more mature and things just move through us differently. The second thing, most important, that I want to bring up: what if our purpose is not having a purpose? And here's how I want to illustrate that. Imagine life, the planet, as a web. And a web needs points of interconnection and anchoring points and nodes to hold all the threads that are going to create the web. So, how about those people who know their purpose, know their passion, and can follow it and dig into them like jackhammers and focus on that thing? What if they are the pillars of that web around the planet, around the structure of life? And that those of us who do not, who fly around like seemingly without direction, are actually the ones creating the web itself, the fabric, everything that connects everything in between those nodes. What if they are the pillars of life and we are the web of life? It's a little bit like the masculine and feminine energies, right? One holds, one is life. Well, how about that? How about we stop making ourselves feel like we're missing out on something because we don't have a clear purpose, but to open up, to expand our understanding, awareness to something greater, and understand that all our attempts, and I do a little bit of this and a little bit of this, and I go in this direction and I change and I go up there, is actually our purpose. And it is just this world, this society that is telling us, oh no, everybody should be a pillar because pillars are strong and like we recognize them. They're not flitty and a little bit all over the place. We are the web of life. So let's relax about not having a purpose, not feeling the fire of passion to give us direction. Let's just kind of fall back a little bit. Is it fall back? Maybe it's not fall back. But let's just relax a little bit, understanding that not having our purpose is our purpose. This is how God created us. This is our place in the world. This is our role. So keep flitting around and collecting pollen a little bit all over the place. When I mentioned Elizabeth Gilbert earlier, later, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years after doing all these speeches about follow your passion, she actually had an epiphany, realizing how many people she had hurt with that talk, because she finally understood that everybody was not meant to be like her, a jackhammer just plowing in the same spot. And she did a TED talk. I think it's called The Flight of the Hummingbird. And I'll try to find the link and put it in the description below. And as a second footnote, years after being accused by someone very close to me of going blindly through life, I realized that I wasn't going blindly through life. I had my eyes closed because I was following intuition. I was following the flow of life, and I was following God and where life was leading me. So it's always a matter of reframing, and we can reframe our life to give ourselves a break and give ourselves some value. The web is as important as the pillars. And that image of a butterfly erratically flitting around, like what we do in life, it's actually now been scientifically proven that they are following mathematical patterns. So you are not flitting aimlessly through life. You are following something deeper, deeper patterns of life that are not obvious to the eye and that are certainly not obvious to the eyes of this society and culture. So go in peace, my purposeless, beautiful person. You have a purpose, and your purpose is to not have a purpose and to keep flitting around and creating the web of life. As a side note, important to me, if you want to support me, if you want to support this channel, please, I will put the links below. One, subscribe, like, that does a lot for the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to support me more tangibly, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Annie Paquette, and you can gift the value of a coffee, the value of a month's worth of coffee, or whatever you like. A channel this size right now, I'm getting to 18,000 subscribers. It actually doesn't really generate income to live with. And small creators like me need the support of people who watch and whose lives we impact. And if we do good for you, please return the favor and support us. Thanks a lot. I love you. I'll see you soon.